Hi, I'm Greg.
And I'm Derek. Welcome to Men of the Dead, and this is Monday. And Sexy Charizard.
Yay! Alright everyone, welcome to another week here on The Den. We are back to Viewer Choice Week.
Alright, it always seems to come so quick. Anyway, so you asked, so we're going to discuss. We got this one from Instagram, from Jack Edwards. Fetishism in the bear community. Fetishizing bears, bigger guys. What do you guys think?
Speaking of coming quick.
So, I guess we're going to come along this topic. Are we going to be defining, is there going to be a line between fetish and attraction? What do you think?
Okay, I'll start it over. So, that's a fine line. For me, fetish defines a sexual act.
More so like a kind of a sexual act or desire.
Whereas attraction is what attracts you to somebody, whether that's personality or physical.
Like, I'm going to be like, I'm attracted to this person who happens to be a bear versus this guy's a bear, so I'm really into him. Mm-hmm. Kind of thing.
Hi there. Y'all purry back here. Mm-hmm.
So we asked around a couple people on the topic just to see what they had to say. Adam Schultes had this to say.
I actually had to deal with this problem before. My ex refused to call himself part of the community because he didn't want people to like him for his weight instead of who he was. I think gays, but bears especially, have become very in love with the particular ideas of what guys should look like in order for them to be sexually attracted to them. It's become a thing where guys don't care about most parts of the body if they have a great belly, an awesome beard, thick thighs, etc. It's one thing I think to be attracted to bigger guys, and it's become very popular, especially when just hooking up to find guys with attributes that guys worship. Some guys will hook up with every big-bellied, broad-chested daddy out there, but only date a cub who's younger and smaller than them. I don't think it's necessarily bad for them to have fetish for bears, or for different body types. I think the problem comes when we shame each other for not fitting into these molds. If we alienate entire groups of people for being too small or being too big, and being like a super chub is going to be pretty much destroy the community in itself. It's hard enough to be chubby, but now we can be told we're not chubby enough. So I guess it kind of boils down to where we should draw the line and say it's getting offensive or not type of stuff. I surmise it would be such a huge deal if people were nicer about it. Just feels like objectification is becoming way too popular again, which is a dangerous and slippery slope.
Well, it's kind of true. Like, when people are like, and when they're in the mood and they're looking for something in particular, there's a specific mold that they're looking for.
Let's call it what it is. When you're trying to get off.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's face it. I mean, it happens in the straight community. It happens in the gay community. People that are trying to get off and they're looking for that particular thing that does it for them.
They're looking for whatever that fantasy is in their head at that time.
Is that necessarily going to be? Is that necessarily going to be their dream partner?
No, not necessarily.
Maybe not.
But it may be something that does the trick for them at that time. Is it necessarily a bad thing? No, it isn't at all. Now, Chester...
I don't know. I don't know. Because, again, you're talking a slippery slope. Because maybe to you, it's... I'm messaging this chubby guy because I think he's hot and I want to have sex with him. But maybe that chubby guy is already low on self-esteem and thinks, oh, well, this younger, skinnier guy is messaging me. Maybe he wants to be my boyfriend.
That's very true. It's all like perspectives on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If both parties are on the same page about what it is, then it's fine. But if one party thinks that the other one is more into them than it is, then that's where it becomes a problem.
Becomes no line there. It actually becomes kind of something against it.
Mm-hmm.
Against when you get attraction against the fetishism.
That's when it goes. That's when it becomes less of a fetish than yeah.
Yeah. So Chester had to say,
I've never experienced it firsthand, but like any other fetish, it's good to know both aspects: top, bottom, dom, sub. In this case, chub, chubby. When it becomes the subject of gaining, there's a huge medical risks that need to be taken into account. While I don't believe there's anything wrong with a person being heavier, a person needs to consider long-term effects like diabetes, heart disease, liver function, impotence, and bone degradation. Degeneration, not degradation. Sorry, I can't read. Fast weight gain can lead to multitude of medical problems like the ones above, but at an accelerated rate. One should never do this if they aren't comfortable with just to please a partner. This is a pretty standard to those with low self-esteem to be the ones that target it the most.
What are your thoughts on that one?
So that brings up the topic of gainer and feeders.
Yes.
So
That's also a big gray area because it's like you could say that fast weight gain is bad, but at the same time there's healthy ways to do fast weight gain.
I've had this conversation with somebody that used to be a gainer that's a friend of mine, and I struggle with understanding the gainer side of things because I've suffered with my own medical problems because of my weight. So I couldn't imagine, for fetish reasons, trying to gain weight and picking up these medical problems that come along with gaining weight.
Right.
For me, I mean, to teach their own, great.
Yes. And
But I personally don't understand why you'd want to take that risk of with your health. I mean, I understand you want to be more pleasing to the eye, or what you think is more pleasing to the eye. Much like people lose a ton of weight to look better. Some people feel like they need to gain weight to look better, but when it comes at the price of your health, is it really worth it?
That's very true, but like I said, there's healthy ways to do it as well, and we're definitely not and to anybody who thinks that we may be shaming, we are definitely not. We do have a lot of people within the community.
Absolutely,
and it's just
I've had this exact conversation with one of my friends that formerly was a gainer, and in fact, we when we originally had the conversation, he was fine with gaining. He had no problems. And then all of a sudden, he started picking up medical problems.
Yeah.
So then he had to stop gaining because of the medical problems. So it's definitely a very valid point. So if you're going to be a gainer or even a feeder, someone who, helps somebody gain, you need to take that into account that, there could be some negative effects on one's health for doing this.
Yeah.
So all we're basically saying is if you're going to be a gainer or a feeder, make sure you take this into account.
Yes. Because it can do medical problems and it can do a lot to your self-esteem as well.
I think what we're trying to say with this is there is a distinct line between fetishism of chubbier men and trying to find that long-term partner.
Yes. There's just going to be some that they're just going to want to get off that time, and you're going to be the thing that they're looking for at that time. You're the fantasy they created in your head.
And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that if both partners are on the same.
If both partners are on the same.
Yeah.
It can really hurt the receiving party's self-esteem in the event that they're looking for something a bit more than what that person said they're looking for.
Yep. All right, everyone. Well, tune into the other guys' videos this week and see what they pick for viewer choice. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And Sexy Charizard.
Sexy Charizard. Well.
It's really because my hair's a mess.
Or maybe they're fetishizing Charizards.
Oh, God.
Photo shoot to come.
Oh, God. Don't say things like that. Oh, dear. Anyway, everyone, have yourselves a great week.
Bye.